Hello, crafties! Welcome to SketchCraft Live! Painting Battletoads, Battletoads, Battletoads. So joining me tonight to talk about painting Battletoads and fucking whatever else we decided to talk about is Brandon Mega Potato James, also known as Lead Heavy. Say hello.
I'm here in my crispy, yeasty perfection.
Don't ever describe yourself as yeasty in my presence.
Are potatoes yeasty?
No.
Wait, that's
Starch,
bread.
dumbass.
All right, starchy.
You know, you're just trying to be gross, thinking you could
I'm
talk me out of calling you a potato, but it's not gonna happen. You could be as thin as Billy Corgan at this point, and I'd still call you taters. So we're way past that, Brandon. Yeasty. Congratulations on not even being right. It's impressive. So moving right along. What am I doing? I'm coloring Battletoads. Oh, Battletoads. This has been an interesting trip. You know, the whole coming up with this idea, getting it drawn, getting it put up, the whole thing. And when it's all said and done, folks, you can pick up prints at shopsketchcraft.com. You like that? You like how I segued right into a promo?
Yes.
Where I will have prints of this available with sketches at shopsketchcraft.com, where you can buy stuff from me and sometimes Brandon. Right? Brandon's getting his stuff up in here in the next day or two.
Yep. Next
Right?
day or two, just organizing everything before I actually go through with it. I want it to be nice and professional looking.
This is where you get art from me, sometimes reels, sometimes prints. I'm actually working on making it so you can get a sketch with almost everything in here, one way or the other. So shopsketchcraft.com. All right, move right on. Promo done. All right, so where we last left off. That's where we last left off. Boom. So now I'm going to start the lighting process. Yay, Rob.
I haven't played Battletoads in so long, and every time you do one of these prints and I do the flats for it, I'm like, man, I wish I had time to play these games that I used to love. Indeed.
You never played the arcade version.
I might have. I'm not sure.
Once you guys get a decent PC, I'll get you MAME set up. And then we'll get it so you can. So when I come over, we can play some Battletoads.
Yay. Well.
But don't get into that right now until we make... I don't want to talk about that right now.
Gotcha. 10-4, good buddy.
So... You missed the earlier cast.
Oh, yeah? Which one was that? What was that one?
Art tips. How to remove logos from sketch covers.
So now I have to go and watch it.
It's not up yet, but tomorrow you can watch it, yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah, just gotta... I didn't get out till late and all that good stuff. It was raining today, so everything got very delayed.
You guys get those haboobs and shit this time of year, don't you?
It's just like, it sucks. I went out on the road this morning, everything's nice, and then I unload all this furniture, like 30 pieces of brand new painted strap patio furniture, right? And then it just starts raining. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll just enjoy this. So yeah. And then 30 minutes later, after everything's completely soaked and I'm soaked, it stops. And then it's hot out the rest of the day.
It's like monsoon weather.
A lot of people don't even know what monsoon weather is. They're like, "What's that?" I gotta explain it to them. And then even that word, the haboob, they're like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "We get these giant walls of Death Storm like in the Mummy."
And pretty soon they're not even going to know what you're talking about because Tom Cruise is making a new Mummy movie.
That is true.
Yeah. They're building a whole monster shared universe, which has got to be pissing Kevin Grievous off. Because like they joke about on Collider, like they're gonna do like the Avengers with the monsters. It's gonna be stupid, and I could just know Kevin's like motherfuckers, like right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times Tom Cruise runs in that movie. He's gonna run from the Mummy. He's gonna run from the
He's
giant
running right
wall
to the
of.
fucking payday, bro. That's what.
Hey, I mean, he's a bit crazy, but he's a good actor.
Don't you have to be crazy to do that shit for a living, really?
Right.
I mean, people say I'm fucking nuts. Look what I do. I just sit here drawing.
I mean, you are a little out there.
Keep it up.
You're a stranger thing, some might say.
Wow. Did you just come up with that?
No, we
Did
just
you just
watched
do the math
we just
right there?
watched the first
Some might say.
2 episodes. So,
Yeah. Some might say you should test that out before you run it on the
well,
show.
someone was gonna give me a hookup with the Netflix, and they didn't. So finally, I just had to go and
If
do
you
it
just reminded
myself.
me, I would have sent you the login. Did you
Oh,
ever
good.
remind me?
I didn't want to bug you. I don't like asking for things. You know that. I
Yeah, I
just
do
don't.
know that. Don't ask for things.
I don't. I don't ever ask for things. I don't like doing it. So I just got it myself. It's fine.
I told you you're going to end up getting one. Just for the Marvel content alone.
All right. War Machine.
Tell everyone what you're up to.
I printed out the War Machine, and right now I'm inking it to kind of build some of the shapes up that I'm not too sure about before I then put it on. I redraw them with pencil because it's hard for me to just look at it and just make pencil shapes out of it. So what I'll do is I'll take the Sharpie or the Micron and I'll go over some of the areas like the bolts and just the fingers and stuff, so I make sure they're nice and solid and look good before I try to pencil them in. So when I go to lightboard it, I got these nice dark, thick lines that I can trace over with the pencil. Exciting stuff.
Do 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 do.
So when you go like this, where you're lighting everything, do you have a sense of how you're going to light all the characters, or you kind of just start with one and then branch off of that?
I have a sense where the light's coming from. There's an underlight, and then there's this backlight. There's slightly back, so there's going to be like a shade in between. That's why I do the color roughy. So it's already figured out.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Do
just
you have
making it up.
do you have that open while you do this, or
Yes,
you
it's on
just
the other monitor. Yeah.
gotcha?
And I actually remove all the layers so I can look at my first shade layer in roughy form and just follow the guide. See, here, folks, this is why people go, man, you spent a lot of time with that roughy. Ah, but when I get to this stage, I'm not over here fucking around trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
It's just how things used to be done. Like, if you go look at, like, comics in the 90s, the colorist, like, Joe Chiodo would be the colorist on a book, and then you see all these all these artists called separators. What that really meant was Joe Chiodo printed out the lines, usually on a Xerox machine, then go and photocopy them, and then he'd spin with markers and acrylic or whatever and paint them and color them with markers and acrylic. Transparent for markers, opaque for acrylic, right? And then hand those off to the separators, and separators were the computer guys who would use that as a guide. And then they would go and color the whole issue. It's actually how it used to be done. I know because I live in San Diego. They used to be down here. So they go to con. I'd fucking bug the shit out of them. Want to know how it worked.
Right.
So this is the same process. Nowadays, I just see colors, just go, I'll just do this over here. It's all in their head somehow, and I'm just not that talented to do it all in my head, And I don't want to be sitting here working out 6 different color schemes when it's high-res art,
Right.
I want to know exactly what I'm going to do. And when I'm working on something, I want everybody to, because, I used to say this before, like, backers, they trust you. Well, not really. When it's like, when they're spending like $50 or $70 or more, they kind of want a clear indication, what you're working on.
Right.
So, like, the roughies as they exist now are done to a certain level, so that way no one can be confused as to what I will be working on. You always get that one guy who's like, so that's it? That's the art? And I'm like, man, if you can't read the fucking post, then I probably will, I'll just give you your money back because I don't want you, you gotta follow along here, people. There's like that guy on Deviant recently who was like, he saw my Jungle Girl cover and he was like, that cover's already been done on Spider-Man and Thor. I'm like, that's why it says in the info box. Matter of fact, let's just call this fucking dumbass out because I find this to be... Look, it's not like I get a negative comment and I gotta be like, this fucker gave me a negative comment. It isn't that. It's that this is what you look like when you don't read shit, right? So let's go over to my DeviantArt page. And let's say you're my follower, one of my followers, and like, oh my god, Rob did that. That's the fucking Spider-Man cover. Then you go immediately down here and type in, same pose as a few comic book magazines I've seen, Spider-Man and She-Thor. I'm like, right. So if you go and read this shit, it says, art is for Big Dog Inc.'s new Kickstarter funded book, Lights, Camera, Jungle. Tom wanted an homage to Spider-Man, and I put the dash in there, so kiss my ass. Number 300, props to Todd McFarlane for the timeless layout. Even in the art, it says, Rob Duenas drawn like McFarlane's signature, same fucking thing after Todd. So then I go and tell the guy, yeah, that's why in the info it says Tom wanted an homage to Spider-Man 300, props to Todd McFarlane for the timeless layout. And it says after Todd in the actual artwork. Thanks for reading. I appreciate the time you took. And the time it took for him to write that shit, he could have just read. I'm like, yeah. But people don't do it, right?
No, people are so quick to want to point out.
No, most people do. But that one guy who sees something, right? Like you ever just, because most people read it, but you see something, you just want to be that one guy, right? Like, I caught him. I caught him. You're just like, no. And if you follow me, you should know, there's no fucking way in God's green earth I'm going to sit there and try to claim someone's fucking layout for my own. I'm like probably the most honest artist there is on the internet. I struggle to find one just as honest as I am. There's a few, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I say shit that, I've tried to have other artists at like my peer level. Hey, come on the cast. Oh no, I can't talk about that stuff. Like I don't, even when I'm like, I don't expect you to be me,
Right.
But it's hard. That's why I felt bad when I got Megan Hetrick on, years ago for that interview, and then I forgot to record I had it set up. It didn't record my dialogue, so I had her interview with me not recorded. How fucking wonderful was that?
Yeah.
And I look like such a douche. I'm like, oh, I fucked up the audio. Like. She's like, yeah, well, I'm busy now. I'm like, of course. Of course. You don't have an hour.
All right.
My bad. So, whatever. But I blame myself in that instance. It was a good interview, dude. She was cool. She's one of the few. She was pretty cool. Ray Hyatt was pretty honest. I'd give Ray some credit. But most people, no. They didn't even want to come on. Like, oh no, fuck that. Hey, what's up, Matt? But yeah, people see like they think they got an opening. I'm gonna get this guy. I got this guy. You know, he fucking took that shit. You know, it's hilarious, dude. I'm like, well, whatever. What I need to do is come up down here and select that fucking guy. Do 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 do. Big frog. So I can select him and then paint around him. It's 6:44. Where you live, not where I live.
Here at where I'm at, it's 10:44 p.m. You know what ads I get tired of seeing on YouTube? That Tay Lopez guy.
Well, seeing as how every one of those fucking ads is helping to pay for your art supplies, you better say I love ads on YouTube.
Not I don't
Thank,
mind ads. It's
thank
just
goodness for
his
ads.
ad
So
his
glad.
ads. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
The Tay Lopez guy.
No, I'm too busy streaming on YouTube, Brandon. I'm not sitting around watching YouTube videos.
You watch no YouTube whatsoever.
Um,
None.
I watch
You
Collider, but I don't get the ads because I pay for the red thing. So,
oh, okay. Well, big baller money. I don't pay for that. I watch the ads.
well, you know, you start contributing more to the channel, we'll be able to afford to hook you up with the red account.
I'm good with my 8%.
Hmm.
Um, anyways, that he's always some guy. I don't know, investor or something, but he's always like, "Oh yeah, just chilling in the garage, my Ferrari, my Lambo, my Maserati, but my real love is my books." And he turns to like his bookshelf, and he's got like all these books. And he's like, "I just love my books," and you could, and then he wants to sell you his get rich program, blah blah. Blah. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
You've seen Wolf of Wall Street
yeah,
when he's making that how to get rich video and then he
yeah,
gets arrested. It's
right. That's
hilarious.
what I was saying. Like I see it, and I'm like, I'm good. Just chilling in my Hollywood mansion. That's how he starts the video off or something. Hmm. Would I like to be that rich? Sure. Why not?
Where are you going with this conversation, Brandon?
He's a douche. That's
I just want
what,
to cut to the end. You know what I'm saying?
that's it.
Spoilers. Take me right to the spoilers.
That guy's a
And
douche.
I
That's it.
want to get out of it. I don't know where you're going. Okay, we're covered.
So,
Awesome. Great story.
I'm much more engaging right around the time you're just getting up. Okay, so
Great.
you
Well, you can
can't.
stream around that time. How about that?
No one wants to hear me while I'm at my.
I get up around 10 a.m.
I might have more viewers and more followers if I just streamed and people could listen to me and my boss.
You
That
think?
might people might like listening to that just
You got
mess.
one. You got one stream. I'm the guy usually on the phone just listening to it.
Yep. You enjoy it.
I'll periscope that shit. Tater troubles with Brandon. Let Heavy James.
I should say I love it. That way you don't do it.
You know I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, whether you love it or hate it, right?
All day, every day.
You have very little influence.
Right. It's like when you call me. So for the people listening, Rob calls me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think of this idea?" Which really just means, "Hey, we're gonna do this, and I'm just giving you a heads up this time instead of just surprising you with it." And I even tell him like, "Well, why do you even ask me?" He goes, "Oh no, I just say it, but we're gonna do it regardless." Like, all right, it's fucking dictatorship,
Yes,
but I'm okay with it.
it's gonna be a long time before you earn equal standing in the dojo,
If ever,
if ever. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, probably never.
You start winning some tournaments, you know, you can get Miyagi status. But
So, Danny was the bad guy in that. My least favorite thing to draw is like robotic characters, and
Yeah,
the last two commissions have been.
that's because you don't know how to do any. It's because your perspective, dude. Once your construction and perspective's down, you come to appreciate that stuff. Like it's easy, it's just squares upon squares, and then you add a little circle. That's called a gear. It's amazing. It's just squares and circles. We'll probably make that announcement Thursday. By the way.
Okay.
No, I won't light it that way. I'll just add the shade. I'll light that another way. Yeah, so Ashley hit 600, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we got 27 more days to go.
Yeah, she'll do good. Was that her first day up too, or second day?
A couple days. The first day, I don't think she did anything, but that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it takes a while to get filtered through the queue and
Uh,
Kickstarter, even when you go live, you know? So, and plus, you know, she's building an audience, so I just got a little. I know when I did that Avengers thing, I mean, I went right out there and tagged Avengers. I mean, like I did, but then again, that didn't. There was other shit up, so I don't know, man. I've done not 8 now. There's no rhyme or reason, you know. I mean, you can hedge your bet one way or the other. I've seen people put something up and not be noticed for like weeks and then go boom. I've seen other people like get all their funding and break expectations in the first 24 hours and then nothing for 3 weeks. You know,
yeah.
they're really, it's a case by case. That's why when people go, here's how to set up your Kickstarter. Like, fuck, when someone's like, how to set up a Kickstarter and make a lot of money. It's like, come on, guys. You know, like if you believe any of that bullshit, then you've obviously never done one. Why don't you just do one? You know, all those little leech motherfuckers that come out there and try to sell you on like how to make money. You know,
Yeah.
it's right up there with that guy you was fucking complaining about earlier.
Pretty
He,
much.
we'll take care of your rewards. Come on, you know, take care of your own rewards. I mean, unless it's so huge. I don't know. For me, that was the fun of it. Being able to like, ever since I first saw Chasing Amy and all those lesbians are sitting around bagging comics, I'm like, someday I want to do that. You know, I want to sit there, yeah, drink wine and bag comics, and now I get to do that. You know,
Yeah.
you've seen me drink the wine.
I have.
Yeah, where do you think that comes from? You're like a woman. I'm like Chasing Amy, mother. Because
I've
you had
seen.
just quoted Chasing Amy, and I was laughing. Like, you don't even know where this comes from. Like,
You took down a good portion of that bottle too.
well, that's a rarity, but I was pretty exhausted from. You gotta understand that was my brother's wedding weekend, dude.
Yeah, no.
So I was supposed to be at his wedding, but you know, I was there, so I was a little stressed out. I usually make a bottle last an entire week.
I can make it last the whole year.
Yeah, well, you could make a bottle of Mountain Dew last 6 minutes.
Fuck no. It's too good. I'm just saying, as soon as they could just switch Mountain Dew over to like an IV system, like a drip system, we're good to go.
Welcome to Idiocracy 2, where Pepsi takes over the healthcare. So the trick here is to get the base lighting worked out, and then you can zoom in and clean up all this shit. It doesn't have to be perfect when you first lay it down, just to kind of block it all in.
So after you do like this lighting pass, would you do another lighting pass or
No, I'll
that's
go in there and clean it up.
oh, okay.
You
Kind of just
know,
refine the edges and stuff.
or I'll add like in this case I'll add like the painted edge to make it look a little. Or like I'll go around the edges of it and just clean it up. You know, and if I
Hmm.
want it to look a little bit like on the Jungle Girl I added like the paint. See, because when you zoom in, it's all fucked up. You got to go in there and clean the lines up. Oh shit, I'm not on that layer. You got to come in here and clean it up. But you can also come in and you can go around these edges because it's in a mask with a painterly brush.
Right.
You know, if you want, and do that. Otherwise, you're working zoomed in the whole time and you'll never get shit done. You'll be here 10 years. Doesn't take that long, honestly. It seems tedious, but not really.
Do you enjoy doing the lighting at all, or you're just like,
No, but at this point, to me, the art's done. Like I enjoy it like when it's a roughie, you know. But it isn't done. I have to actually go and finish it. So I don't really enjoy any of this part. One day I'll make you do it. That's the goal. You'll have the
see,
lighting guide, you'll have my lines, and you'll be doing this shit.
fair enough.
All you'll have to do is flats. Or yeah, you're like or we'll make enough money, we'll pay someone else to do them.
Right.
Right?
Why does it keep saying that? Let me blow my nose real quick. Right back. All right. Have you had to use your AC the last couple days, or has it been cool?
That's been cool. Like it's fine now. You'd hear it if it was on.
Right. Well, that's why I asked. I don't hear it, so. Can you hear the dishwasher, or is it okay?
It's fine.
All right. Did you finish all the episodes of Stranger Things?
Nope.
What episode are you on?
3.
Oh, okay.
As you know, a lot's happened this week.
Right. Yeah, we got. Well, we still have like 15 minutes left of episode 2, but I mean, you know.
I had planned to be done by this week, but my family came into town. As it stands now, I don't even think I'm going to get to see Kubo while it's in theaters.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go have time to go see it, which
It pisses
sucks.
me off, dude. I've seen every Leica film, but just with the things going on right now, I'm like, I don't even know if it's possible.
Right.
So, priorities, right?
Right.
I mean,
Adult.
people are
Being
like, well,
an
more people should go
adult.
see it. I'm like, I agree, but I'm not actually. I've already seen the other fucking films. Like, why don't some people, there's plenty of other people to go see. I'll buy the fucking thing in Blu-ray 3D, which, probably like a $60 purchase.
Right.
It's like buying a fucking Xbox game when you buy a 3D movie these days. It's crazy. Alright, I gotta fix this.
And I hope I don't butcher your name, but I want to say Khan South says it's 9 a.m. in Turkey.
Oh, nice.
Pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, just internet in general. There's people right now talking to us, or in just other parts of the world, like just all over. Turkey, France.
When I was in Germany, it would have been great. I mean, I had the internet, but you couldn't watch artists draw.
Right.
Google didn't really. I mean, Google existed, but there was no YouTube. You
Uh
know,
huh.
so I remember when they launched Google. I was there for that. I was like, yay! Finally, a way to search the internet that's not web crawler. Web crawler was AOL's answer to. It
Right.
was horrible. Had a giant spider web. I remember things were very literal. They go, it's the World Wide Web, and then, they'd add spider webs and shit. But yeah, it's cool, man. You know, because when am I gonna get to go to a convention in Turkey?
Right.
So that's awesome. He's from Ireland. Hey, awesome.
Hello to Deshaun Leon. Khan says hi, and Matt draws from Ireland. By the way, oh nice. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's just crazy the reach. Like, there's this girl who follows me on Instagram, and she's like, oh, I've seen your guys' videos, and she found your videos through my
Streecher.
page. No, different
Okay.
girl, and she's from Ireland, but she lives in England now, and it's just funny when she's chatting or commenting and stuff, and she's like, yeah, I laughed my arse off at your guys' video, and it just made me laugh. I'm like, oh, at first I was like, that's a Irish term or Scottish term, and she's like, oh, I live in,
Arse.
yeah. I think she said, yeah. I was
That's
like,
a what term?
I don't know.
Scottish or Irish or you don't
Yeah,
say that. You're just gonna offend a lot of people.
right, but I didn't mean to. That's why I
Right.
asked her. I said, I know that's a term from somewhere I've never been,
Uh-huh.
and she just explained to me she lives in England, but she's from like
Yeah.
Scotland or something. So it was just like, wow, just crazy that someone finds your art, across the world, and You
Well,
know,
I ever
just like
told you, man, like one of the funniest moments of my life was when I was working at Play. I was starting to get, you know, I was actually starting to get some kind of notoriety, right?
hmm
Because we publish monthly. So I had my art in the magazine and covers, every month. So I was at my buddy Joe's place, and his sister plays like in like the lingerie bowls,
uh-huh.
right? She's like a model, and so he was calling her. Now I'd been at his house all day. I went over there to go watch a movie, and he got this giant screen TV from his father. Gave it to him, like a hand me down. This thing was fucking gonna kill me. It was this giant CRT tube, classical TV
Right.
that was like leaning over, and like his room was all fucked up. I was like, dude, we can't be like living. So I rearranged his living room, right? I'm like, just so it was less crowded and more open, because he had all this open space, but the cushion, the couches were facing the wrong way, so the place was seriously claustrophobic. I'm like, if you just
Right.
flip the stuff around, you open the whole living room up. He didn't understand that concept. Anyway, so she calls. And she's like, yeah, I know this is weird, but I'm dating this guy. He's really into art, and I know you're an artist, and you're in California. Just on a whim, if you know this guy, Dunas, he like draws in like these game magazines, like maybe like you know of him. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Joe was like, yeah, he just rearranged my living room. Like, I was laughing, dude. I'm like, I'm famous. He's like, fuck you, dude. Like, I'm like, well, fuck you. Your feng shui is all fucked up. Now it's set right.
Right.
So it's hilarious. But that was just with magazines. Now with the internet, that's why I laugh when artists are like, "Oh, if I don't go to this con, no one's gonna know who I am." I'm like, "Fuck the con." You know what I mean? Be big on the internet.
Right.
Like the con's nifty. People can come meet you in person, but I would have killed to be able to just hang out with artists when I was, really, especially when you're first learning, and you would just like to see someone kind of like they know what they're aiming to do versus like, me when I was just like hoping everything would work the fuck out.
Yeah.
So sometimes just watching someone work with confidence just gives you confidence. Does that make
Yeah.
any sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, you. Yeah.
Good way
Darth
to finish that
Andrew says
sentence.
hi. Darth Andrew says hi.
Just because, yeah,
Because, like, I don't want to boost your ego or no shit.
Uh,
You surround
uh,
yourself with winners and you win. You
uh,
surround you play a sport with someone who's better than you. You're gonna get better. I mean, you know, I do enough of these flats. I'll pick up on some things. Also,
that's
Darth
what I'm
Andrew says
hoping.
hi.
Hey, what's up, Andrew? Yeah, I'm hoping you pick up on some things too. It'd make both our lives easier.
I mean,
How
can
do you
this
close a
world
file?
X?
Better answer it right, Brandon.
That one I don't think you told me.
I told you we went over this. How do you open a file?
Control O,
How do you close a file?
Control X.
No.
Oh, that's good. Um,
You're,
you're pop quizzing me right now.
because it's like basic shit. If open is control O, what do you think close would be? See if you can guess it.
Control L? No.
No.
Control S? No.
No. That's save, stupid.
Yeah, it's save.
hmm It's not control C, that's copy, Crusher. If you fail.
Yeah, that's copy.
That's why Brandon doesn't know. He's like, it can't be C because C is copy.
I don't know.
It's control W.
What? That's dumb. No W in close.
There's a trick question when I asked you if one was O, what would the other be? Just want to see if you'd lose your mind and answer. Oh, I remapped. Very clever. Very clever, Crusher. Very clever. I only quiz him because he didn't know control. He didn't know copy, even though I showed it to him 100 times.
Bullshit. I knew copy. I didn't know.
You look at that key. I love it when you look down at the keyboard You look at it like in Stargate when they find these strange hieroglyphics on the wall in another world. They don't know what
Luckily
they
for
may
you, I
mean.
liked the original Stargate movie, so I get it. But I knew what Control C was. I knew what Control X was. I knew what some of the other shit was. There's just like a couple I didn't know that you put me on the spot that I didn't know. But I knew what fucking copy and paste are and cut.
No, you didn't. You
I
laugh.
did,
You're making it up now like you did, but
no, I
you
didn't know
said
how to. This is the one I did not know that you gave me shit about. Was select all. I didn't know how to do that one, and I just fucking froze. I was like, I don't know.
what's select all.
Control A.
Oh,
So yes, I know that shit now. Those
boom
ones.
shakalaka. You're the only way, Brandon, is flashcards. The only way is to quiz people. That's how you get. When I was a kid, I had no help in school. I used to think that if you just didn't know it when you got to a test, it's because you were stupid. And someone actually told me that you have to study. You quiz yourself before a quiz, and if you get it wrong, you'll know ahead of time, and then you memorize it. And once I learned that trick, I went from like D's and F's to A's. It was amazing. So I have to quiz you all the time. You never know.
Yeah, in case I try to get a job or anything, I'll know this shit.
Or in case I ask you.
Correct.
All right. Because I just make you work on more complicated projects when you get things wrong. I'll just invent mean work for you. Guess what you're going to be drawing next? Robotech. Yay.
I love drawing robots.
Uh-huh. Then Titanfall. Uh-huh.
Right, just fucking these you get really crazy and be like Evangelion and
I can do that. That's more
Voltron.
anatomy than robots, dude. They're
Right.
designed organically. I'll do a giant G1 Transformers piece and make you do all the flats for 101 Transformers.
Let's see. I remember. Patterson student says, "Well, shit." I think that's a compliment.
Well, now
Um,
but now he knows, right?
Crusher says, "What version of Photoshop are you rocking, Rob?"
I went back to CS5. It hasn't crashed on me one time. I tried CS6, I tried the Creative Cloud, and they constantly crash. Ever since they added that feature, that auto, the restore feature like Maya has. If it crashes, it'll remember your shit. Ever since they added that, then it was crashing all the time. I dealt with it for almost a year. I just got tired of it, went back to CS5. I won't lie, there's some features I miss. But you know what I don't miss? Crashing all the fucking time.
Right.
And these are two, and it's not just this. I tried on every PC. I could find ways to crash it. And you've been there, Brandon. You've seen me. I
Hmm.
find all sorts of ways to break shit. So I don't know, man. I went back to CS5. I don't. I mean, the only thing that I really miss that I don't have is on CS6 and above. When you one select or you eyedrop, you can set the eyedropper. See when I click eye, it's a sample. Right now, it's current layer and all layers. On CS6 and above, it adds one that lets you select from this layer and below. Now that actually helps a lot. But once I get used to not having it, then I'm like, I don't know if I ever needed that. Once you get used to
Right.
having it. Plus, I like to be able to duplicate folders by just hitting Control J. But now I have to actually drag the folder down. Oh my god. So I don't know if I'll be upgrading to any new version of Photoshop ever again. Like I'm past versions of programs unless they add a function that just creates shit and I get to think of it. Then that would be amazing. That'd be worth. Like if I could just think. Like if I could plug the roughy in, the computer could just go make it.
Chrysler says, "Any version is better than Creative Cloud, paying them for life to use their program."
Yeah, just buy the program once. It's $500. Well, I'm gonna get my money back. I don't care. So you use the cloud because you guys pay for that, right?
Yeah,
That's what Brandon's using. Yeah,
because when she was in school, we got it either for I don't want to say free, but like
at the
big
student
discount.
discount. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll go away. Then I'll have to figure that one out. We'll deal with that in due time. I'm going to come over here and select Knuckle Frog. You didn't even take the time to learn their names. Glove Frog, Big Frog, Knuckle Frog. What killed me was you didn't know Billy and Jimmy Lee. Like, you label them Nunchuck Dude. That was
Because
funny.
I wasn't
That was funny.
when I'm spending all these hours
Well,
and doing
what
it,
I
I
think
don't.
was funny about that, well, here's what I think. I agree. But the problem is, Brandon, if it were you, like, let's say a year ago, you would have been like, you don't know who that is? It's fucking Jimmy Lee. And I'd be like, yeah, but when you're working on this, you don't have the fucking brain. Like, your brain's so focused on working on this shit, you're not thinking about that. You know? And you're like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was a dick. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was like, when I was doing the flats, we were all clowning you. And I gave you, then I defended you. I'm like, yeah, but now he'd admit that that was just because, he didn't know what he was talking about. You're just hoping to get the work done. You're like, what does it matter? It was I mean, look, I worked on books where I can't remember the character's name. I worked on monsters. I don't know their names. That's Frog Guy. That's fucking Blue Dude. That's the Wolf motherfucker. Then you talk to the writers. You're like, I don't know their names, man. You know? Oh, you don't know that's Frankenborg? No. And I letter the book. You know. On something like this, which is easier, digital or Copic colors? For this level of ambiance, digital. Yeah, I need a lot of airbrushing. So, to get this all done. This has a ways to go.
You mean you're not going to be done in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, sometime tomorrow. Am
If
I
you had
going
to
to
pick,
broadcast my Dark Knight commission? Yes, I will. When I get done coloring this, then I'm going to go and draw the Venom, and then I'll draw the Dark Knight. I like to sit
oh,
on it for a couple of days in case I need to make changes before I draw it. What's up?
I was just saying. Now I know who Patterson is. He bought the Batman on Gargoyle the year before, and then now he bought the new Batman commission from Vegas, right?
Daryl? I know him as Daryl.
Well, it says I don't know the guy's name because you talked to him about all this stuff, but he's the same one, right? He got a Batman sketch before, and then now he's got the new one.
Yeah. I don't
I
know if that's
remember.
Patterson. I know Daryl.
Well, this no, no.
I don't know what you're talking
Said
about,
no.
Brandon.
Okay, the name here, Patterson students said, "Are you going to broadcast your Dark Knight commission?" When you read that, I thought you were saying it's his commission.
No, the one that I posted on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
You haven't been on Instagram. You only go to Instagram when you have stuff to post,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you haven't seen the stuff I've been posting.
No, I'll have to check it out. Patterson says, usually on here is Steel City. Kids mess with the YouTube profile.
Hmm.
Get off my YouTube, kids.
Yeah, I put the other hand back on that. So he's still got the hand that's resting with the batarangs because Daryl liked that. He's like, can I just request that? I'm like, sure. Then he wrote this whole long thing, like trying to psych me into it, and I just he was like, I don't want to impose. It's gonna be a lot of trouble. Then he wrote this whole thing about how it makes it look cool, and I was thinking for Batman, and I already had it done. I'm like, you just go here, turn this layer back on, erase that, and it's done. I'm like, yeah, here it is. By the time it took him to write all that shit, I was done with the edit. It's funny. It's not that big a deal, man.
He says he has 5 kids. They outnumber him.
Nice.
Damn. I got a buddy who has 3 kids under 3 years old. Or all something like that. I mean, they're all back to
My
back
buddy
to
Ray's
back.
got 5 daughters. And they're all getting ready to hit like, except for the youngest, they're all getting ready to hit like high school at the same time. Like,
Ugh.
and like I think like the last two, as soon as the others are out, then he'll get 2 years off, and then they're in. Like just the way the math worked out. So, but they're all like a lot of them are in professional sports now, or not professional, but you know what I mean, the leagues and
Yeah.
stuff. So he's got that. His whole weekend's filled with driving all over Kingdom Come. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Dark Knight commission right now.
You're not.
Pretty dope.
Oh, you're looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I took a second to go look at it so I can be caught up.
Yeah, I'm gonna that he has his foot up. I gotta work that boot a bit more when it's on the board, and I'm gonna have it so it's cracking the gargoyle piece. So he's like actually breaking
Nice.
that. You know what
Like
I mean?
all his weight push.
Yeah, it's gonna be cracking it. Just easier to do on the board. I don't want to
Right.
sit here and noodle that shit.
Patterson said, I'm working on my new comic. I want to thank you for your tips. My work has vastly improved by watching your videos. I now make $2,400 a month. Isn't a bad payday for penciling independent shit.
Awesome, dude. Congratulations. Yeah, it's good to hear. I mean, you never want to. Dude, man, at the end of the day, I just don't want to see people make the same mistakes I made. Go make new mistakes. And then go on YouTube and explain to people how not to make those mistakes. Pay it forward.
Right.
Sometimes artists, man, sometimes you just feel like you need permission to do shit. Like, can I just print that out and color over it? Like, yeah, it's not cheating. Like you can do that. It's okay. It's weird. Meanwhile, some guy on the internet is just printing your shit out and selling it at con. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look at that Final Fantasy VII so far.
Hmm.
It's pretty.
Can't wait to do the flats, huh, Brandon?
Pretty detailed.
But yeah, man. It's the whole goal, man. It's always been just to, cause I had so many questions, and like I would get answers at con, kind of when I was a kid, and because I was young, they'd be willing to be more open. But you realize the older you get, the less they want to tell you because they're job security,
Right.
you know. Don't tell them shit, you know. And then when I was in college, I just didn't know how to do half the shit I wanted to know about. So I did a Batman versus Superman piece with Doomsday and Wonder Woman posted on DeviantArt about 5 months late. Some asshole posted a tracer on work and talked about the price. Yeah, well, I don't know how you can stop people from stealing. Like all you can say is if someone stole from you, then that means it can sell. So if you can't sell your own shit, then I always take it as a sign of, well, at least it sells. I mean, what can you do, dude? You could take the stance of not posting anything, and that doesn't help you, You got to find them and then go after, do your best to harass the shit out of them, Like, will you go after them legally? No, I'm poor. But what I would do is I'd devote a whole show. We've done that, right, Brandon?
Yep, we have a video in our collection of art thieves.
Sketchcraft
And
Live podcast play. The actual Sketchcraft Live podcast playlist. If you go way back to like episode what 3 or 5, somewhere around there.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thumbnail is me and Rob as ninjas with art in the background, so it's pretty standoutish.
This guy wasn't stealing my art. He was janking other shit, but I just felt the need to call that out or help call it out, you know. And then the guy wanted to come on the cast, you know. Like, he was paying some chick to draw for him, you know, so he could
Yeah.
like hide behind her or some shit. And then he was too chicken shit to come on. It was hilarious. Fans of mine too. How do I deal with it? You know, I've worked at companies where companies all steal from one another. That's all they're doing, man. You know, you come out with a book called Mouse Guard, and then now 3 other guys got a book called Mites Templar. Right? The difference is, man, people who create original shit stick with it longer. You know? People who jank shit just move on to the next thing. So a guy might create something like Mice Templar, which is just a knockoff of Mouse Guard, but he's not going to stick with it long run. He's just going to get that out there so he has his, and then move on. The trick is to build a fan base that follow you and know, you know, look, if people are emulating you or knocking your shit off, it's just because you're doing the right thing. You know, they're not going to steal shit that ain't working. You know? In the meantime, you got to call them out. Like, the best I do is just call them out. We'll devote a whole show to it. You know? You know, and if I got a guy that really wouldn't, I would just keep doing it over. I found that most of the time when I expose this shit and go, this guy over here or this girl over here, sometimes it's a girl, dude. It's fair play. They
Right.
cave in immediately. I took it down. Can you tell everyone to leave me alone? Like, you know, like, you know. That being said, I don't go on eBay and search my shit out. I just don't care, you know. I mean, when DC adds, you know, starts adding little bits at the ends of their films that show you previews of the next fucking DC movie. What's Marvel supposed to do about that? You know, like,
Right.
no.
Crusher said if I was working that Final Fantasy 7 piece, I would have stress dreams about it.
You build a tolerance, man. Right, Brandon?
Yeah, you just push through it. I've been going to the gym lately, and I hate it. I hate making myself go, but I just push through it because I know in the end it'll be better. Same with doing the flats. I hate it, but I know in the end it's gonna make me a better artist. And it's not to boost his ego. Rob is 98% right most of the time, so I have faith in what he has me do. Patterson asks, do you ever critique people's work? It would be nice to have another artist POV on what I am doing, and I can answer that. Yes, Rob does do critiques. What he asks is that you send him a folder album
A
comprised
couple
of,
images.
yeah,
Don't give me a
couple images.
ton.
Sorry, okay, like 3 or 4 images of your work. If you're a penciler, just send over pencils. If you do all, pencil, ink,
What you're
etc.
specifically looking for critique on, not just random art. Am I good enough to
Right.
do anything? Like, if you're trying to be a penciler, comic book dude, whatever you're doing, just send me that specifically. I'll create a video and we can all sort of go through it together, right?
Right. So if you are wanting your work critique, he is going to make a video out of it so everyone can see. So
That way
not
we can
deter-
all learn. And if you have any questions on shit I said, you can go right back to that video and be like, there it is. You know? Matter of fact, this weekend I got an update on that Bucky from Dominic, and he's going to come on the cast, and I'm going to go over the 3rd revision with him so he can ask me questions. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to re-say this, but okay. So Patterson has said his computer froze. He missed all of it. Basically, yes, Rob does do reviews. He just asks you send him 3 or 4 images of what you want critique. So if you're a penciler, you show your pencils. If you're an inker, show your inks. He likes to make live videos of it, so that way you can rewatch it, but also other people get to see it and learn from it.
Yeah. That way I know what you're going for. Like, it helps to know what you're trying to do.
Right. He said, I just thought if I sent you some pages and see if you have any tips to
Yeah.
get better.
That's fine. Yeah, send me
Yeah.
some pages. Rob@sketchcraft.com.
Right. But he will want to make a video of it. So that's
Yeah, I'll do it
that's-
live on the. I'll do a art tips.
Right.
We do it specifically.
That's the handoff. If you want your work critique people, you gotta let Rob do it on a video form.
That's how I get paid, motherfucker. No, it's really because people would ask one time that thing you said. Like, I sat on I remember sitting on the phone with someone once for like an hour, and I'm like, man, I gotta do this so everyone, because I'm not tech support. Like, I don't mind doing it, but I like to point people in that direction.
Right.
So I mean, all the time, Brandon. You asked me a question the other day. What did I tell you? I made a video. You should go watch
Yeah.
it. It's on this channel called SketchCraft. Didn't I?
Yeah, you didn't even help me.
No, I told you. What did I tell you to go do?
Just watch the videos.
Yeah, go watch the video. That's actually why I started the YouTube channel. Because I do so many different things. I'm like, I don't know how I did that shit. So I started recording everything so I could go back and look.
Yeah. Send the images, the email to rob@sketchcraft.com.
Yeah, you could just type the address
ROB
in there.
sketchcraft.com.
Yeah, you could just type it in there, Brandon. Type it
All
in
right.
the chat
Yep.
window.
Uh-huh. Oh, more machine. You got all kind of gears and tubes and sprockets and nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize the screws and the bolts and stuff on that
Yeah,
one.
has a very Mega Man Legend feel to it. I like it. The bolts on the knees and stuff.
And welcome to Rob's influences. Games.
I ain't complaining. I love those games. So time is it 11:30? He says thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Probably do it next Monday. I alternate between podcast and art tips. So Monday night, 9 o'clock, Pacific Standard. I'll do the whole thing. If you can't catch it, it'll be up.
I'll be on there dropping my wisdom, which adds up to zilch.
You throw yourself under that bus. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson about trying to give people advice. I kind of just I was at the gym tonight, and there was this really skinny teenage kid next to me, and he's just I'm not saying I'm a world's bodybuilder, but when I was in high school, I was an all-state athlete, and I knew my shit. So it's like,
High school football, pig. Right?
not just football, soccer, rugby, track, all state, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I'll say.
I was, but you don't ever hear me bragging about it because now
Yeah, I
shit
never
now.
heard you. I've never heard you brag about it, but okay.
I don't. You don't hear me go like, "Oh, I was so good. You should see."
I played high school football.
All that. I don't even. I never even got a. I got all my letters and I just kept them in a box. I never was one of those guys who got the jacket or anything like that. I just
I got a letter. I
for,
lettered in high
for
school.
what?
Journalism. Huh?
I didn't even know they gave
If you
letters
do it
for
for
that.
4 years, I found that out my freshman year. If I used to stay in the journalism class, I can get a letterman. So which would I know my dad used to throw that in my face how he had a letterman thing, and I didn't even give a shit. But I'm like, I'm gonna letter in journalism. You watch this shit. It's gonna be amazing. So I just sat there drawing ads and doing like a comic strip, and I wrote the calendar of events for sports. That
That's
was my
funny.
beat. Yeah, and I got a letter. And my dad was like, I'm like, lettered. Boom. High school journalism, Dad.
I just found mine the other day and I was just like, oh, well.
Yeah, it's a fuzzy letter. Big fucking deal.
Right.
Uh,
Where's I going with? Oh, my point is, and he's watching me, and I could tell he's like watching to see what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I didn't say anything, so I'm just like, well, I don't want to be that guy. I don't be like, oh, I know how to live, blah blah blah. Even though,
Sure, he wasn't
it's
just
like,
checking you out.
no, he was kind of young,
He's
too
like
young for that.
beefcake. Maybe he
He was
likes
a little
older.
too
Maybe
young
he
for
likes
that.
bears.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, hey, if he was checking me out, that makes me feel even better.
Don't be a
Because
tater hater, man. Maybe he's into it.
I hope so, because I mean, that would make me feel even better. Like, oh shit, I'm looking good. But I think he was just more watching to learn. But I was like, nah. I was like, for a moment there, because he's swinging his arms and his body was just all over the place. I'm like, you gotta have control. Go lower in the way. But I didn't want to say anything to him. It was like, no,
Throws his
come on.
back out, and then you're like, you could have helped him, man.
No. Last time, remember what happened last time I tried to help somebody that didn't ask for
I was
help?
there for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't ask for help, so I learned my lesson.
I went horribly wrong. For you, for me, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun until it threatened to come over to my table and really irked the fuck out of me.
Yeah, nobody's gonna come up to the table with me there. They ain't gonna do shit.
People are cowards, Downey. They gonna hurt us, Walter? No, nihilists are cowards, Downey. I'll put that movie on next time I'm over too. I'm willing to watch that movie with you.
You mean you don't want to watch fucking Rounders for
Got my
like
wife to watch it for the first
sixth
time the other
time?
night. She finally was able to see what I was talking about. She's like, "That movie's you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me. It's my movie." No, I will be watching Rounder. I just leave that on all the time.
I know. I watched it more times with you here than I ever watched it ever before. It's a good movie, good actors, so I don't mind.
It's probably talking about Lebowski. There's a delay.
I was talking about
I know.
Rounders.
I know.
Hey, do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, cool.
G.I. Jose. Yeah, you forget what you did. That's the whole reason why I started. Give me a second.
Yep.
Do do do. What's up?
Me?
Oh, did I miss something?
No.
A lot of people do this. What I'm doing here faster with lassos and shit. I just can't lasso my way through. I've tried.
Patterson says, I just sent the artwork. I hope it went through. When I send files this big, sometimes they don't go through.
It's a
Um,
private account, so it should.
yeah, it should go through. And a lot of times, too, Patterson, you should check out We Transfer. And I'll type it in here in the box. But that's what me and Rob use when we're sending each other art back and forth. WeTransfer.com.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free. So that's the site we use to send all our big art files.
Yeah, and they give you an update when people open the shit. So when Brandon goes, "Oh, I don't know," I'm like, "Yeah, I can tell when you open it." So
Mm-hmm.
can't sit there and bullshit. How long do you think it'll take Brandon to color this War Machine? I'll have it done by tonight. Every time you said that, 2 weeks later. You're gonna be done by Friday, right?
Yeah, I will.
I mean, he's completely tonal. You're doing a red background. How hard could it be?
Did you see that kid that got a double hand transplant?
No, I saw that guy that got the face transplant. Now he wants his face gone because it's like rejecting or something. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm looking at this kid, and a year ago, I guess he got the transplant. They're showing it like updates. Like, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, they give him 2 hands.
I still think the way through it is real robotics because the body rejecting organism or cells and shit. You know,
Right.
when it doesn't work, it's nasty, dude. So I think robotics are the real future with that. Like, hey, Luke Skywalker, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Kyle's on.
Hey, Kyle. Kyle was on
On
last night.
on that note, I gotta go to get ready for bed.
Hey, Kyle, want to come on Skype and chat? Brandon's leaving because he's a chicken shit. He's got to go to work and shit.
I know.
Hmm.
Who does that, right?
Huh? Hey, man. Maybe you can make 2,400 a month drawn.
No.
It's possible. One of our fans do it. Why can't you?
I'm a sucker for pain.
You got a love for furniture.
Yeah. You've heard the love over the phone.
I didn't move it. I didn't move it. No, I just put it there. I didn't touch. I didn't. I just measured. Like, where's he going with that? Who would hound another person at work for shit like that? You know, you just
Oh,
ask something and move on.
you should hear. You should
Oh,
hear
I
me when I
see it.
say
It's usually on something like Kitchen Nightmares. You know, it's always family-run businesses. It's never like a real work. You know, and if it is a real workplace, it's because they start running it like they do their house. You know, that's what I hear. It sounds like a
Yes.
dysfunctional family, and you're
Oh,
just
very
trying to
much
like do
so.
your work.
I try.
Who put the dishes? No one puts the cups where the saucers go. Why would you? Why would you do that? Let's see, Kyle. Hey, is Kyle there?
Yeah.
Is Brandon there? No, I put Brandon on hold. Let me give me 1 second.
Whoops.
It's okay. Let me merge calls. Brandon? Brandon?
Yes.
Okay, now you're on there. Kyle?
I'm here.
Hey, you're all there. Now
I
Brandon
think
can.
it's the first time Brandon and I have been on at the same time.
Hey.
I don't like it. No, I'm just kidding.
It's terrible. It's the worst thing.
It is the worst thing.
It is.
All right, Brandon. So tag Kyle's in, and you're out.
All right.
Get some
You
sleep.
have fun with Rob.
Oh,
WrestleMania tag team.
yeah, dude, you guys are the Mega Powers.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Later, Brandon.
Bye-bye.
Hear you tomorrow night. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Yeah, Swifty. Get out of here, you big son of a tater.
Goodbye.
I heard about a guy who was getting the first ever brain transplant. Hmm. Hmm.
I know some people that could use that.
I was waiting. You watch Key and Peele?
No.
Season 5. There's a great sketch they do that's about basically like how Gremlins 2 got made. It's not real, but it's just their hypothesis. And they bring in this script doctor who gives everyone a chance to like. I don't want to ruin the whole thing, but the basic premise is that he gives everyone a chance to design their own gremlin. And if you know anything about Gremlins 2, it's hilarious.
The only thing I remember is like a gremlin that falls in like some tomatoes and turns into like a tomato gremlin.
Yeah, season 5. You just like Key and Peele Gremlins 2. I'm sure that clip has to come up. It's hilarious. Yeah.
I'll check it out. You're Battletoadsing it up.
Yeah. Only you and Rare has probably ever said that.
Well,
Don't
I
be
tried.
rash. His name is. Never mind. Their name is Rash, Zits, and Pimple.
Patterson was asking about Monday night. What time do you think you'll be streaming?
Monday night, I will stream the help at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard USA time. Flawlessly. So we'll go over all that night for certain.
There you have it, straight from Rob's mouth.
Yep.
So, have you just been coloring this today?
I just started the final colors like about an hour ago, yeah.
Okay.
Why?
I haven't seen anything since Brandon did flats, so I wasn't sure if he had put in.
Oh, I did the coloring flats, yeah. That's up too.
Okay.
And I did a couple quick videos on like the difference between coloring flats and selection flats.
Oh,
So I
okay.
put those two up too, because it was part of the Kickstarter. Like I also went and updated the Kickstarter too. Kyle, you should have got
yeah.
those updates. Yeah,
I got that email.
yeah, that's what was in it. Now you know, no one's half the battle. Oh, I got that artwork from him. So cool. We'll definitely go over it Monday night. Sweet. Got it, Patterson. Peace. Give me a second, guys. 1 second.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can always hit up like Salt Lake Con. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, I've looked at that. I might that or Seattle because I have like Mike from the Cassies out there. My buddy Ty. I was one of his groomsmen at a wedding, and my buddy Joe. Well, he's moving. He's moving in 2 weeks to Seattle. His wife got a job out there. Anywhere where I can get a free night's sleep sounds like the better deal. You know what that's like. Now you're hosed, right? Ultimately.
Yeah,
So can't help you there.
whatever, man.
Totally selfish, bro.
Yeah, I'm done with this friendship. I feel like I've gotten everything out of it I can.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
guess I
I'll
should
talk.
wait to get my commission before I cut you off.
Yeah. Except all that artwork you spent money on, but all right.
I played my cards too soon.
Play your cards are right. We have to talk about it. It's
No,
almost,
that's great though. Like you know, actually get a place that costs like half as much and is way better and
that's the hope.
doesn't get super hot and
No, it gets warm, but it's the
moisty.
dry heat.
But you don't have to worry about like no more sweating all day.
I got an AC unit now, so I don't really worry about that.
Oh,
That was before the sweat the unit. But I don't have to get a real job. I can do whatever I want. So whatever.
nice.
Which means just game cave and whatever else I conjure up.
Yeah. How soon are you guys moving?
Next 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh wow.
I was telling you very quickly. I might be coming up your way one day because there's this food truck I want to try that I've been following on Instagram for like a year, and I'm like, I'm just gonna end up putting like 10 pounds on a water weight from trying some food before I leave. But
Mhm.
I'm not coming to LA for a long time, so I
Yeah.
have no choice. It's called Free Range LA. They have a cool Instagram account. It's fucking awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Let me know if you need like help packing the truck or something. If I'm not working, I'll come down and give you a hand. Whatever.
Woot. Will do appreciate it, but
San Diego's not too far.
too far. It's Simon and Simon, right? Remember they used
I
to
don't
shoot
know.
all like those TV shows down here in the '80s, like Three's Company. Well, I mean, they shot the opening, didn't shoot the actual show. But all the coverage would be, come and knock on our door. That's why they
Nice.
said Anchorman in San Diego. Really,
Oh, I just thought it was because it was the whale's vagina.
right? Not gonna get to make those jokes anymore.
Uh,
Oh
like,
well.
what is there to joke about in Boise? I have no idea.
Nothing, motherfucker. No. But that being said, I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to see Kubo in the theaters.
I saw it today. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Has a 96% tomato meter.
Yeah, like it looked beautiful. Just the visuals.
They gotta make a Bone movie. I'm telling you.
For sure.
How great would that be? Bone in stop motion.
I'd watch that.
The Great Cow Race.
Yeah. No, that was the play. That interview place was the one where she's like, I feel like it didn't go so well. Like that one interview, right?
Yeah, it went well.
Yeah, apparently.
So
Yeah, you're gonna have to find a new curry place.
Oh, I've been making my own curries, dude. Like, I've been preparing for the past year. How to make coconut, pumpkin, Indian, savory and sweet curries. So it's actually not that hard, dude. A lot of it's just cream, vegetables, coriander, garam masala. Sometimes there's a paste involved, Thai paste or depending on what you're doing. It's the food prep that can eat time because you got to cut everything up,
Mm-hmm.
That can kill an hour or two. What would you do today?
Went to a couple movies.
You saw Kubo and you saw War Dogs.
Pete's Dragon.
Oh yeah.
It was Pete's Dragon was decent. It was very Disney, I guess is the best word for it. Little too Disney for me. Yeah, I still like the movie, but
A little too Raph.
there's no such thing.
I make that joke anytime someone. I can't help myself. It's like shaving a haircut, you know? My wife at this point is just tired of hearing it. Okay. And she'll look at me, she's waiting for it. She knows I'm going to do it. The food's just a little too salty. And she stops. You already got one fair in the bear trap, yeah? Don't do it. Don't do it. Can't help myself. I have this friend, Chris. He's an older guy. Yeah, I went to the army with him. I met him in the army. And we've stayed friends afterward. And when I met him, he was all full of hope and wonder. And after divorce, he hates life. And so he's always a big fan of Doctor Strange, and like Ditko era, Silver Age, Marvel and stuff. And so like I finally showed him the Doctor Strange trailer. He's like, I just wanted where, like, Doctor Strange, he's going in and he wants to figure out how to solve something. He has to go into the tomes and the library and read this stuff and learn. I'm like, you should see the trailer. You should see the trailer. Finally, I see the trailer and he's like, it's not scary. I'm like, oh, you fucking dick, dude. Like, I'm like, I just went off on him. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, no offense. I'm not saying it's the greatest film in the world, but Marvel at this point, and let's be honest, folks, they're putting out 2 films a year that exceed or equal Return of the Jedi in terms of quality, consistently. Like, let's be honest, dude. Like, are they all Empire Strikes Backs? No, but they're definitely better than Return of the Jedi. And every now and then they hit one that's as good as fucking A New Hope or some shit. And they're doing that every other fucking year. They're doing it every year, twice a year. And I'm looking at the Doctor Strange thing like that movie should not even exist. Like. He's like, well, let's go CG. I'm like, how are you supposed to do it without CG? Actually conjure the arcane arts? Like, they made one without CG in the 70s. Like,
if they had hired Daniel Day-Lewis, he would have gone all method and actually learned, like, the dark arts.
Yes. Which is, like, to me, like a Key and Peele sketch, essentially, right? We don't have to use... It's like the Marvel version of Nosferatu, where we don't have to pretend to be vampires. We can just hire a real creepy vampire to be one on set. Did you ever see the remake of Nosferatu with Willem Dafoe?
No.
You should watch that. That's a good small indie film. You know the basic premise of Nosferatu?
Yeah, I've seen the original.
Yeah. The Willem Dafoe remake is fun to watch, bro. It's not a timeless classic like the original, but it's good. It's a little dark comedy,
Yeah.
Starting next year, they're putting out 3 a year.
Yeah, because next year we got Guardians, Thor, and is Black Panther next year? Or is that 2018?
No, I thought they're only doing 2 a year, man.
No, next year they're doing 3.
Are they?
Is Spider-Man Homecoming's next year.
Okay, that's not... Yeah, but that... I know Marvel has creative control, but, I don't know.
Well, then, I guess 2018 is Avengers. That must be Black Panther's 2018. And... Miss Marvel 2018?
There's no release date for Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, careful with the Ms. Marvel thing. That's technically Jean Grey, right? So.
Because I thought Brie Larson got cast for it.
Captain Marvel. Yeah, but the moniker Ms. Marvel is a whole different... That's something else entirely.
Yeah.
Like, that was the original Jean Grey code name, Ms. Marvel. Like... This gets into geeks. This is really sweaty shit, bro. Let's, let's not confuse the audience. But Anyhow, but yeah, okay, so 3 a year, which is impressive. I mean, when you really think, I mean, how many of those movies were there in the 80s, right? Not that many. You get like an E.T. and an Indiana Jones or some shit, but I mean, could you imagine if Lucas and them were putting out two of those kinds of films every year? You know,
That'd be amazing.
they never would have been able to maintain any of that shit. It would have gotten really bad. Imagine you get like the Willow trilogy and it just gets worse and worse. I wasn't a big fan of Willow to begin with, but could you imagine just getting worse and worse?
Uh, Not really.
That would be awesome.
You could start Mystery Science Theater 3000ing it.
Yeah, I don't like it when they do modern films. I thought I would when I was a kid. The only film I want to see them MST3K. Well, they did Batman and Robin. Like I always thought that would have been great. But
Mhm.
I guess I like it when it's some film I have no idea what it is, you know?
Yeah, some Joe Don Baker movie.
Right. Oh, you got me there. I guess it's three forever. Oh, there you go. Well, look, besides that, I'm like, dude, how can you complain about this? I mean, I don't know. Then he was veering off into like, I want a movie that, or it's like scary, but also has about kids reading like things under their blankets. I'm like, go watch Stranger Things. He's like, oh man, they don't make the kind of thing. I'm like, go watch, motherfucker. Like they made what you're looking for, And I'm not gonna spoil this shit, and I haven't finished it yet, so I couldn't. But I'm just saying, I know what you're asking, I know what you're saying, and I'm saying they already made it.
Just gotta go watch it. It's there.
But you can't. I mean, how does kids under a blanket have anything to do with Doctor Strange? Like, I'm like, what are
Yeah.
you crazy? You're veering off into, and he's not here to defend himself, but so what? So
That's what he gets for skipping the podcast.
I invite him on.
Live stream.
He doesn't want to. He thinks it'll be unfair that he can state his opinion and I can state mine. He thinks people will just side with me. I'm like, they won't. People disagree with me all the time. I got one guy who won't shut up about what program I use to ink.
What program do you use?
Photoshop. He insists
Yeah.
nobody but me likes to use that to ink, and I'm like, well, I'm the only guy I have to worry about. Like,
I mean, what else is there? Like Manga Studio?
well, now it's called Clip Studio Paint.
Okay.
And then I get into the whole like reasons why I don't do that, and I just don't care. And I figure Manga Studio is pretty much an excuse for people to just paint over 3D models.
Mhm.
But it doesn't do anything that I'm already doing here, and I know how to do it here efficiently. I think I'm pretty efficient with it. But I'm like, whatever, use whatever you want, man. Look, I've gotten into this conversation because it's driven people nuts. Like
It's
this
like
again. But
you've got the process, and it's like everything else that's not the inking is done in Photoshop anyway. Might as well just keep it all one place.
but see, you're what we call a professional, Kyle. Like you're thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of makes sense. Keep it all in one program, right?
Yeah.
It's an amazing concept. And have you ever been to a studio that had Manga Studio lying around?
Possibly. I don't know.
Nah, but they all got Photoshop, right?
For sure.
And you know what it's like to try and convince people to give you money or a budget for programs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, how well does that go?
It doesn't go.
Yeah. So I just learned how to do this before there was a manga studio. And believe me, right when it first came out, I jumped on it. I'm like, this will be I can do it. Then I realized I already know how to do all this. And I mean, it made some nice zipatone patterns, but you know what also made good zipatone patterns? Buying some zipatone patterns and scanning them in. Like, it's like when I used to use Painter when I was younger. I was like, it has watercolor brushes. You know what else has watercolor brushes? Using watercolor with brushes. Just had to sit down and do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
Now, since Matt brought up Ant-Man and Wasp, I was pumped that they announced Michael Pena's coming back because I think he was my favorite part of Ant-Man.
He's divisive. Most people think he's fun and funny. There is a strong Latin community that believe he's what they call a minstrel. You know what that means?
Uh, Like he's playing a caricature?
It's like a blackface,
Okay.
essentially, but like, yeah, it's a caricature. It's like, when they do that fucking bullshit, now looky here bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, nonsense. So, I don't know if I agree with that, but there's a strong community that believe, he's heard it too, so I don't know, you know. But then I mean, I have a friend too that firmly believes in that, and I was like, well, what about like Cheech Marin? Like, was Cheech Marin doing that? Like, because you could say the same thing about Cheech and Chong, right? It's not really, and I don't know if Michael Pena. I mean, was anybody in there realistic? Like, is Paul Rudd? Does Paul Rudd speak for every schmo white guy, or all Baskin Robbins employees? Really?
I
Like,
mean, I wish he was.
I mean, he's the worst part of Friends season 7. I know that much. No way Phoebe ended up with Paul Rudd. Fuck that shit. She's supposed to end up with Hank Azaria or Joey. Period.
I've never seen Friends.
You have a girlfriend?
No.
That's why.
I mean, I have at points in life. And I
But
still
you did
never
not
saw
maintain
Friends.
the relationship, did you?
No.
Now I'm telling you what's missing.
That's it.
I know it seems shallow and simple,
So
but that's how you learn how to swim, in the shallow and simply. I'm telling you right now.
So what you're saying is the problem with all my past relationships is we weren't watching Friends together?
You weren't watching Friends at all. Like, you can't even quote it. You can't even. I'm telling you. You meet a girl in our age group, man. That's the way in. It works.
All right. No.
Anytime you're eating dinner, you can just leave that on. They'll always laugh. Ha ha ha. Have a good time.
It's probably because I was like, let's watch like some foreign French movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I got the best movie from Belgium. We should totally watch this.
I got Werner Herzog's fucking Caves of Dreams or some shit. Let's get some chicken nuggets and fucking. Let's grab some wine, cheese, and Das Boot. Yeah, coincidence. He has friends, and Johnny doesn't have girl problems, Kyle. So,
Because he's watching Friends.
huh? And he's totally like Latin or Asian, whatever. See, you just offended half my audience. It'll end up on my on my tombstone. Was Latin, Asian, whatever. You ever have a friend like you really respect,
No.
and then
Oh,
Kyle, you should really go and do open mic with those comebacks. So, you ever have a friend that you really respect, and then you go, "Hey, I'm gonna show them this movie, and we're all gonna get along," and then they don't like the movie?
yeah.
Yeah, that happened with you, and I let you watch Big Trouble in Little China. You did not like it, Sam. I am. Let
No,
down. I was let
I
down,
didn't.
Kyle, that night.
Just add it to the list of character flaws I have.
Hold on. Since I got permission, I'm gonna go add that to my Google Doc. Should I be
Oh,
sharing you
your
with that Google
computer's
Doc?
add a memory. That's a really big Google Doc.
Like, if it's your character flaws, am I required to share that with you, or just ex-girlfriends? Like, I always wonder too. What if, like, that would be funny, right? Like in a movie or something, if a bunch of exes were sharing a Google Doc on a dude. You could just get into the club, start making a list.
It's just up there in the cloud for all the girls to.
The Cloud. Yeah, there you go. That's the name of it. The Cloud. There's a movie there, Kyle.
I think they already made a movie about the cloud, and
They
there's
made a movie about the net. Did you ever see that?
Sandra Bullock.
Woo! You really want to see how the world's changed? Go watch the net today. God, it's amazing.
I just watched Hackers for the first time this year.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man,
Angelina Jolie might
technology's
have a
changed a bit.
future. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they still play PlayStation. Well, they were in the future. We do play PlayStation retro games. Like, you can, PlayStation now is going to be on PC, so You like how they just guess passwords? That's how they force brute their way into systems. It's quite amazing.
Hmm.
People's passwords are the word God. Like, oh, okay. Then, people would tell me that because they saw that movie. I hadn't seen it. I was like, really? You know something about hacking? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just saw the movie. I had a friend who pulled that one on me. Like, he pulled that knowledge on me when I was in high school. I believed it because I'm like, I don't fucking know.
The sad thing is you can still type in admin and password, and you'll get into like a third of all systems
Well,
still,
because everything's still based on DOS.
and nobody bothers to change the defaults.
Well, they tried to, but then we all revolt. We don't want your new program. We don't want your new operating system. Fuck you. I refuse to upgrade to Windows 10. So I'm afraid if I upgrade anything, I'm gonna be spending all my time fixing Windows and not using Photoshop.
Yeah, I skipped the free upgrade because I was like, got some plugins and stuff that I just don't want to deal with. And my system works fine on 7.
Yeah, I don't game on this system, so I don't care. That's why I have gaming machines, and I'm not buying an Xbox One. So
I just don't game. Kyle's got no game.
you should be playing. Okay, you should be playing something though. I mean, like with the cinematography, that could be a future. I mean, at some point they're gonna hire. They have to be hiring guys like you, especially with VR, dude. Software development. There's a whole future there.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And if they're gonna, yeah, I mean, there's something there, Kyle. I don't know what, something. Something that involves learning, and I get you. Who wants to do that? You know. I'm like, I paid off the student loans. I'm like, I don't want to learn nothing. I don't teach myself because learning means you owe stuff, and I don't want to owe nothing. you know. Sometimes I don't believe I actually paid my student loans. I have nightmares that I still owe them. The only other time I have those nightmares is when sometimes I think I'm still in the army. Like I have that dream. I'm like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to college in like a decade. And
Oh no, it's not going to college. It's that I just owe the fucking money.
Well, no, I was gonna say I still have dreams like where like your first couple days you check your schedule, so you go to class, and then in my dream it's halfway through the semester and I realize I'd somehow forgotten one of my classes, and so I was like failing a class, and I'll wake up and be like, how am I gonna fix this? Yeah.
Bribes. You just buy all the notes and cram for a class you never took.
Yeah.
I used to sleep in half my like gen ed classes, and they go, you can't sleep in here, and so I read the rules, and the rules actually say I just have to be present, according to the state of California, to get accreditation. I'm like, I actually can sleep, you know. So I always started recording, audio recorder, the fucking. Well, I'm like, I'll listen back to it while I'm at work, because they didn't have a way to buy notes, and then they started that program because people were just recording shit. So that's when I got one of those mini tape recorders they couldn't find. And then I was able to get a laptop, then what can they tell, They can't tell what's going on, so. But I always like those first year art students that went around carrying those giant portfolios. Those big portfolio bags. The 24 by 38 by 46. And you're like, you'll give that up in about a couple weeks. Come to realize you don't need all that shit. I personally never even used that because I would see people at Con walking around with them, and I'd be like, you dumbass. Just bring a portfolio. You don't have to bring that giant fucking thing's so obnoxious. That giant portfolio.
I feel like, I mean, especially in like the comic industry, 11 by 17 is the standard anyway, so it's like, you don't need anything bigger than that.
To be fair, man, they don't even do a lot of reviews anymore. Cons aren't for that. Like they don't even want to to get in. I've gone to cons and I've cold pitched books. Right? It is a fucking nightmare just to find an editor at cons. They don't fly them out much anymore, you know? There's no reason to. Half the time these companies, I mean, they're just there to like push book sales, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or have artists come and sign. So to find an editor these days is almost impossible. When you do, they just need to see examples, you know? They don't even need to see them on a one-to-one, you know? Sucks because it used to be. That's the whole reason why I started going to cons in the first place in Artist Alley was because our editors would peruse Artist Alley, and if they liked your shit, they give you a business card. That's how I got hired at Play. You know, going to Wizard World. I didn't even go to Wizard World to sell prints. I went there to get job business cards. You know, and that's how I got hired. I mean, it was a wonderful little fucking program until they stopped. These con circuits it got so expensive to go to cons, they stopped doing that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so just one of those other things. You know. Now I just think there's so little. There's so much. How do I say? There's more content than ever, but there's so little books, right? So now it's just going to people they know, essentially. You know, like you have to find a way to make friends, like on a Twitter, put stuff in front of people's faces, try to meet a guy, directly email people. You know, it's hard, dude, to get noticed if you're not already friends with people in the industry. You know,
Mm-hmm.
find work with a foreign publisher so you can just get in front of people. I mean, I know people when I did that Invader Zim, like, you should fucking, I don't know, like, those Oni guys don't want to hear shit from nobody. They got their list of friends, and I'm not on it. Like, I've already looked, but I get it, you know, they got everyone, I can draw Zim. It's not what you can draw, they don't care. You know, they want names that people already know, so they can move variants. They don't care about the quality. You know? Sorry. Because I love Kevin Eastman. I think, he's a fantastic person. I've met him many times. He's always been very kind to me. I've worked with him. He's paid me. But let's be honest. He's not putting his best efforts forward artistically anymore. You know? He doesn't have to. Like, you've seen that Batman TMNT variant he's doing? Whoo!
Mm-hmm.
Whoo! Ho! You know? Come on, man. You know? He could try a little. But he doesn't have to, right? So I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I don't know, but it's a shame because I know there's a version of Kevin Eastman that could look like a cool Frank Miller heavy metal drawing, you know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't, right? Sad. But you know that shit will go for $500. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. His stuff sells for so much.
Yeah.
Like his covers.
So when you got a name, you don't have to have. Then again, I don't firmly believe in that either. But whatever. What does it matter what I believe? You know.
Yeah, Rob. What does it matter?
What does it matter? It matters 22 cents. That's how much I'll make on this whole stream. Think about a quarter stream in ad revenue. So I know the exact worth of my opinion. Slightly less than an arcade game
Okay. Yeah.
in 1983. These days, the things go for like, $1 per game or some shit like that?
I can't remember the last time I went to an arcade.
No, Dave and Buster's, that's the last time I went to one, right?
Yeah, I guess I've done Dave and Buster's.
See, I still go to Dave and Buster's for one reason. Well, one, you can drink, which is nice. But two, it's the only place I can actually play a light gun game.
Mm.
My second favorite genre of gaming ever. And you can't do light gun games on LCD screens. So, yeah, they gotta have this whole, yeah, they can't do it. I had hoped they'd be able to with like the Wii because of the motion tracking or even the PlayStation Move, but it doesn't really work that well. So I love to play the light gun games. Although to be fair, the Mario Kart arcade game is pretty fucking cool. I didn't think it would be, but it's pretty good. So have you put together that pitch for our Jason show yet?
No.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Telling you, Platinum Dunes. John C. Riley is Jason Voorhees. Kathy Bates to be the Voorhees' mom. God, that would be amazing.
Now, how did you come about picking Battletoads as a subject matter for a print?
I've always wanted to cover the arcade game version of Battletoads in a magazine since Play. And since I have Game Cave, I knew I wanted to cover that. So
Okay.
I decided that rather than make it, because initially my idea for Game Cave was just it was just going to be this little game magazine that had fake editors, right?
Hmm.
So like Penny Arcade, the game magazine, right? To make an analogy. So instead of a comic strip, it'd be a magazine. But then after the shit with Josh went down, I decided, well, I want to tell real stories rather than just try to write humor, you know? Because I like humor, but I'm not. I like humor in context, you know? And I like to write action. And I'm more like, if I write something, it's more like somewhere between Full Metal and Kill La Kill, right? Versus just straight a comedy. That's not something I would like. I can't write Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Like, that's not quite. I mean, who can? But you know, to make a lesser example, like South Park, shit like that, where it's just straight. Because in order to do that, you have to be really knowledgeable about the subject material, right? And although I'm really knowledgeable about games, I don't play them enough to make like when you see like web comics based on games, it's based on all the topics about the game and like Destiny and level 22's stats and shit. Like who the fuck cares? Like that's not. I like the human experience, not so much the experience of playing games. So I said, well, it would be a novel. And then initially I pitched it that each game cave section would have like one individual theme. In this case, it was fighting games. But when I changed it, um, I was like, man, I don't want to do a whole thing of fighting games. So I just decided to work all the stretch goals into some new art, you know? So I'll put Battletoads in here, Final Fantasy VII. The downside of that is I probably shouldn't have done so many stretch goals. That did not.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
watching your Kickstarter, I was like, man, that's an ambitious.
Well, it
ambitious
wasn't
stretch
an
goals.
ambitious. I'd be done if I didn't have the other piece. See, there were prints that weren't ready yet, like the saucies and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So, like, I had to go finish that other shit. That's what threw me off. I didn't really calculate the Saucy 2.0. I didn't calculate. I had to color a few too that had to be finished. Can't remember what they were, but I remember like the God of War had to be done, and I thought I was gonna do those during the Kickstarter. Uh, Little did I know my mom died. Like, threw a whole plan off, bro.
Hmm.
You just when you have one major death in the family, you don't expect another one. Like
So
bam,
soon.
yeah, So that ate into time. So, but I totally would have been done. It's just I didn't anticipate those two delays, and the other delay was I did not think VegasCon would take a month out of my schedule. News to Rob, like that was crazy, man. You know, so work still got done though, but yeah, moving forward, I will never do 15 stretch goal things ever again.
Yeah.
Everything else is shipped, so that's nice, but this is taking an entire year, so that's wonderful. I'm gonna make my money back though, one way or the other, dude. Welcome to Digibooks 2.0. So right
Mm.
now, like I've been uploading all the Digibooks to my new server. So in a couple in a month or no, I'd say 2 months because of current situation. In about 2 months, I'll post one last update in Digibook so everyone can, if they missed anything, because I had that problem where everything was being hosted on Mega, and then Mega, they're a little corrupt, made it so I couldn't pay to update my account in dollars. I had to buy foreign currency from other banks and pay in foreign currency. It's fucking. They didn't tell me this, by the way. They just did it one day. So I finally figured out a place to host it that wouldn't charge me for bandwidth, so I can put it back up and give everyone at least a couple weeks to get anything they missed. And then, but that's like 100 gigs or so. It's crazy how much data those things take up.
Yeah.
You downloaded quite a few of them, right? If you got
All of them.
Yeah, you got them, and that's like an insane amount of data, right?
Yeah, I got all the like super high res ones and all the Photoshop files and everything.
Yeah. So
I went all out. I got the deluxe package.
yeah. So this time, all these power prints will be in. I think there's going to be a few extras. Like I'm thinking, I might make maybe one extra thing where it's like I kind of break down like how to do the backgrounds with distress ink, maybe in more detail or something. I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out. I know people requested that. You could sell them on Gumroad, or I'm like, I don't know. I thought I've been pretty clear, but some people don't know how to use it. So I'm like, I don't know. There's something to do there, but at the very least, it'll be all this shit. Plus, some of the commissions I've been doing too, right?
Yeah. So with like all your convention commissions and stuff, you've been doing a lot of commissions this year.
No, I had no
feel like-
choice. I had no choice because I was supposed to receive a very large inheritance my brother jacked me out of.
Yeah.
And so when that didn't go through, it was either get a job at Stables or start taking commissions. So, so now I've waited that out. I don't have to do as many anymore. I will continue to do them, but what I'm going to try to do is place them with Kickstarters,
Mm-hmm.
so I can just fund my projects through drawing my way out of, holes, essentially. I still want to, I like doing them, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, because I get to, like, that Rick and Morty piece might be a nightmare, but it set me up for something that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have conjured up on my own. So, and with the digibooks, even if I only make, an extra $1,000, $500, it still pays for itself, dude. Like it's an extra $500 I didn't have before. So
Buys you more art materials.
yeah, well, or Brandon's buying art materials, so it'll come out of my wallet. I gotta get him to be a little more self-sufficient. That's the goal. He was like, "Am I gonna put my art in the store?" I'm like, "Fuck no." And I was like, shit, I guess there's no way for him to sell stuff without it being in the store. He's trustworthy.
He doesn't have like his own Etsy store or anything.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any followers, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he has an Etsy store, but no one cares. So, you know what I mean? Then it's like, are we really? He really came through at the con in terms of running the booth.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to start. The problem is, man, I'm really after the whole thing with Josh, I'm scared to death I'm gonna get fucked. And
Yeah.
so, you know what I mean? Like, and I told Brandon, it's not him, dude. It's not you, man. It's me. But I'm just so sick. If I give him the ability to post in the store and he doesn't ship something, then my reviews come down. You know what I mean? Like, I told him if you screw up one fucking time, you're out. So, but I don't know. He's a pretty trustworthy dude. I can't. It's like just because a girl breaks your heart doesn't mean you can. It's not like that. But you can never love again. But it's just tough, dude. I mean that Josh thing. I mean I can't understate it, dude. That should have bankrupted me in a way. I mean, how I survived that, I do not know, man. That was tough. That was a hard lesson to learn. So, and I know when you explain it to people, they go, "Well, that makes sense." But I'm like, yeah, if it were the first time we worked on something, I get it. But I've been working with this guy on stuff for years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like,
It's just totally unexpected because you had like a good relationship going on.
yeah, very trustworthy. This is why I go, Brandon could fucking do it too. But I have a bigger audience now, so I would bring the hammer down on him. You know,
Yeah,
you would get the real brunt or blunt. What is it? Is it the brunt
the
end?
brunt. Oh, the
Brunt. Yeah, see, I
well,
don't know that one. See, don't use you don't know how to use the phrase. Don't use it. He would get the fucking sharp end of that stick. How sharp end of that stick? That works too.
yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be the blunt end,
I don't know.
or he would bear the brunt of
It
it.
would bear the, man. What I learned in writing? If you can't figure that out, just don't use it.
Just
Find another way to say it. Just don't be as clever. I don't even go to Google and try to find the right way to do it. I just not using that phrase.
you're like the audience won't know.
They
So
won't. They won't know. Won't care. People just prefer to read things where people talk plainly anyway, man. Dickensian English is pointless. Save that shit for Doctor Who.
and this is one you drew the characters traditionally, correct?
And then digi ink them,
Yeah.
so they're still digitally inked. But yeah, I drew them all the way through. So
That's right, because you drew them without all the like game stuff at the bottom, because you
yeah,
did
that
all that
stuff's so
just
tiny, dude,
digitally.
that it just made sense to do it digitally, completely.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have drawn the Nintendo Powers traditionally anyway. I just would have drawn a box. Like if I had to go that distance, it would just be a box. So I'm trying to draw more traditionally in digitally, but it wasn't the way I taught myself how to do all this. So it's hard. You get used to seeing the lines a certain way.
hmm
When you see them all blurred and kind of fucked up, and then you have to have this clean line. You're creating in a different way, and since it can go twice as long. So at the point, you're like, do I change my habit? And eat the cost now, or do I stick with what I know and just move on with it? But for interiors, dude, I got no choice. Like I'm gonna do interiors, and they're gonna be digitally inked at all. If at all, then I can't do the whole book digitally, man. I've done that. I drew Monstroids completely digital. Fuck that. I won't ever do that again. Takes too long. But if it were something where I was just tracing rough sketches, that goes by a lot quicker.
hmm
You know, so even then, I would only do the characters. I found that the backgrounds don't have to be like when I did a new Rick and Morty, the house. I didn't trace that. That's just gonna be painted. There's no fucking point.
yeah.
Um,
No reason to waste time doing like tracing over it.
yeah, same with like I tried just for shits and giggles when I did the Jungle Girl piece. I went re-inked the vines, but it was totally pointless. I should have just inked her and the plushies and then comped her together with the line arts that I already did because I'm going to paint over that stuff and I just soften the inks and that's fine. It's just they don't look good with characters. The lines are too jumble fucked. The Copic marker, the multiliners don't have the finesse line. It's a line quality issue. They don't have the same finesse as you know a brush or some really clean quill. There's no fluctuation in the line really,
hmm
so it's hard to describe. But
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because those multi-liners they're pretty hard tips, so it's like they just stay very consistent thickness.
Right.
At which point it almost just looks digital anyway.
Except when you put it next to, except when you color digital over it and it looks like a jumble-fuck. So
Yeah.
being able to trace over really quickly, just for the characters, doesn't take that long. Like even these guys, I think, how long did it take me? I can check right now. Let's see, how long did it take me to ink this? I know it took me 4 hours to do full inking on that Jungle Girl. And if I hadn't done the background, it probably would have been half. So, as the vines took a lot more time than they needed to. And I don't like cel shaded backgrounds anyway. I like them to be more painted. Digital inking, Battletoads. There's the drawing. Where's the digital inking? All right, so to get all three of these dudes took me 5 hours. But I'm going to be honest, folks, I probably could have done it in at least 4. When I'm here working, talking to you folks, like on the streams, I'm taking my sweet ass time. You know? Like when I don't talk at all, shit gets done faster. And I've time. I mean, sometimes almost half, but you know, whatever. So I might have to do that though with some stuff in the next couple weeks. I might be like, I'm not talking.
Just gotta get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but that being said, also these guys have thick and thin. See, they're all thick and thinned and shit. Interiors, it would just be a thin line. There'd be no thick and thin.
Mm-hmm.
So that eliminates actually half the time. The thick and thin is what eats up time because you got to zoom in and got to use an oil brush and go over the whole image. I know, like I inked one panel in 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the Game Cave test, so you go, that's pretty quick. Well, you know, we got 100 panels to do. Can eat up a little time. That's why I'm making the panels like pretty small, so you can still see. They don't have to be rendered very cleanly. You know, like my roughies with a little bit of cleanup are like they get the job done when those panels are like tiny. So
I know for a while you were doing a lot of the like the gradient coloring. Is there
gradient
a reason
maps.
you're not that? Yeah, is there a reason you're not using gradient maps for this?
Well, I use it on the roughie to
Okay.
quickly color in stuff. There's no need to, right? Like I found that with the characters, if they're not going to be super painted,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're going to have like a more simpler color scheme. These are going to be cel shaded. I might have a painted edge. Like I might, when I get done cleaning this up, go here and like paint the edge if I want to, just to smooth it out.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, the gradient maps make more sense when things are painted. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so cel shaded kind of doesn't make much sense. It would just be
Because you're only picking like one or two variations of a color anyway to do the
right. But if I
shading,
wanted
right?
to fully render these guys, you don't want to have to manually blend 6 different colors, like 3 or 4 different colors of green.
Yeah.
You want to do all your blending digitally and then use the gradient maps to handle those color blends.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried every version of it just to figure out what works and what doesn't work and what they're good for. So, like if I do fully painted backgrounds for the Game Cave game, right? They're all going to be black and white, and those backgrounds are going to be fucking gradient maps.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I can keep it totally consistent because there's not a lot of fluctuation between leaves and grass and daylight, nighttime. You know, it's trying right now to keep a consistent like value base. Like, what is the value base? Because on a gradient map, the center of the gradient, if there's 3 colors on a gradient, the center is 50. To the left is black. To the right is white, or 0%. So I would need the whole piece to be a base 50%. Like you got to kind of color it from a neutral standpoint up to a white and down to a black. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So when cel shading that's largely irrelevant. Like if I go and sorry, fill this with black and desaturate, it's not really that at all. It's a hard contrast, so you
Hmm.
end up with a lot of weird, you know, gradients that wouldn't translate over to digital painting. I'd be having a cell shading gradient map set up and just take forever. So, although it's always good to check your stuff in black and white just to see the lighting, right?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, in this case, cell shade's fine, and then even the plants, I can just sketch those in and add a little bit of paint on top. Like take a paintbrush and just kind of put on top of the hard edges, and it looks painted. Oh my god! Like, like this is a good sheet. Like, say you want a chalk texture, just do a cell shade, and then when you're done, grab a chalk brush like this, grab this, and just go around the edge, and be like chalk brush. There, I chalked that in. It's totally easy. Anyone can do it. I might switch that to a hard light. Kind of like that. Can add more contrast in the secondary phase. Now I'll flip that out. So that's why when one guy was asking me, but you were doing gradient maps, and now you're not. I'm like, I will. You know, like, I don't think there's one way, Kyle. Is there one way to light a film? You just light one way? Like,
Oh, yeah, all movies are just one
you
way.
just learn a 3-point lighting scheme and just stick with that no matter what?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's only one light you'll ever have to use, one bulb or one camera, right? You'll never have to.
Yeah, we don't do multi-camera ever.
Sometimes, why do you use a GoPro? You know. Have you mixed GoPros in with your work yet?
Yep. I
After Breaking Bad, were you forced to? Like, did that start with Breaking Bad?
no, I mean,
Because they put that shit on everything. The shovel. You know, if a guy was sweeping the room, it'd be on the broom. I was amazed. I was like, wow, you could put a fucking GoPro on anything, dude. That's amazing.
yeah, I mostly use them if we're shooting like a simple underwater shot or some. You can throw them on a drone and get like aerials. That's
You
mostly
get
what I
that making
use
a
them for.
murderer thing, right? Like every courthouse shot. You know what I'm talking about? Anytime they cut to a courthouse, it was the drone shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I pay attention, Kyle. You know, look at that.
What do you know?
Who would have thought Rob's such a fan of cinematography? I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out how the guy who shot The Dark Knight made Transcendence. I'm just trying to. I watched The Dark Knight and I watched Transcendence. I don't get it. How is this possible? Just from a contrast point of view, like how did he allow like Transcendence has no contrast whatsoever. It's almost prequel-esque.
I just kind of try to forget the entire movie experience.
I heard he
That
shot
movie.
the pilot to the Tick.
Yeah, I think I heard that as well.
I have not watched the pilot though. I have a Prime account, I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
I did not like the costume for the Tick.
I
Just on a surface level. I cannot speak to how it plays in the show. I'm just saying, compared to that live action one they did on Fox back in the day, I
mhm.
didn't think it looked as good. But that, I didn't think that one looked that great either. But if I had to pick,
Yeah, because I mean, my introduction to the Tick was the cartoon, and so for me,
right?
the live action is just I haven't cared for. I didn't care for the original live action series, and I'm not super excited for this new one.
I almost wish it was live action setting with animated characters.
Like Roger Rabbit style.
Yeah, yeah. Even CG characters, I'd be fine with. That's how I was hoping the Simpsons movie would be. that they'd make a Simpsons movie and actually build Springfield, but make all the characters CG. Because
Why not?
Springfield in
Why,
real time would look amazing with those colors. You know, it would look like Edward Scissorhands gone crazy. But CG characters, you could retain the yellow people because you don't want a realistic Homer Simpson wandering around.
no, I've seen the pictures of the oh, what's the other show Matt Groening did?
Futurama.
Futurama. Yeah, that is creepy looking.
Yeah. Or the realistic Beavis and Butthead.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like some cartoon people are just not meant to ever be real.
Although Beavis and Butthead might actually work. Because, you know, they're not really supposed to. Being creepy would probably play in that show's favor.
Yeah. True.
Have you broke out those Copic markers since you bought them?
Yeah, I've played around a little bit. I, I've got a couple coloring books on order that I'll probably play with them more once I get some coloring books. I can kind of
I'm
just
working on
sweat.
SketchCraft the coloring book.
Nice.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out how I was going to get this done. Surprisingly, it's difficult. So, if it's not the next thing I do, it'll be the thing after I do that, whatever the next thing is. The next thing might be digibooks, but I don't know. Given recent situation, I'm hoping the very next thing is Game Cave Volume 1 relaunch, you know?
hmm
Personally speaking. So,
That'd be cool. I think it'd be good to kind of get your own work, like on your own sort of project, get that out there.
well, I'm technically working on
'Cause-
Game Cave right now.
yeah, yeah,
Because I back engineered that bullshit, but you know, it's very technical. It's a technical win.
yeah. I guess I just mean it's more fulfilling to work on your kind of project rather than doing commissions that other people want me to do.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it if they help get me 500 copies of a book. Because
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about is what I might do at Game Cave is just make the goal $4,000, so I can get the cost of the book down with a minimum of 500 printed. Normally I do the $500 Kickstarters, but that's based on having to do almost print on demand, you know. But if I can Kickstart for, you know, a minimum order, then I can get the price down at least a little bit, you know. Like
Yeah.
instead of a $40 book, it can be more like a $25 book or something, you know. It's still a lot of pages, man. These things are 142 pages. Kyle?
Which is that's pretty thick book.
Yeah. So I gotta also factor in the shipping domestic. So it could still end up being like a $35 purchase, but it includes shipping, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I guess you have the advantage since it's a book. Just you could media mail them all, so it doesn't really matter how much it weighs.
yeah. Generally, people like a tracking number. But
Uh, I think media mail can come with tracking. I just got something in the mail the other day that came media, and it has a tracking number.
yeah, it falls under priority, though, doesn't it? Like, generally?
Yeah, it's
So it's like up to a pound, but it doesn't really matter. So you're still looking at about $5 to $6 on average for
yeah,
shipping. Yeah. That's what mine usually runs. But shit, if I get the book down to $25, and that means, you know, after Kickstarter's take, it's more like a $30 to $35 tier, all included versus, you know, a $50 or something or some shit like that. But I don't know, I gotta work out the math. But I try to get it down. Like maybe get down to like 100 pages. There's no story. It's just you'll read it and be like, okay, really? Like if you're gonna spend $30, you know, I want you to get some fucking money's worth out of it too, you know.
Hmm.
So does it suck when you wait like a year to get a indie book and then you read it in 2 minutes? I've had it happen. I don't know if you've had it happen, but it's happened to me.
Yeah, I think most the books I've backed I've gotten quite a bit for my money.
I think my only complaint I've had from some books I backed is when all the art in the book is on the Kickstarter.
Mm,
Have you ever had that happen where you get it and there's
no.
nothing new in the thing you got that wasn't on the Kickstarter page?
You're like, I could have read this all for free.
Well, you know, like there is a level of like, wow, what else? You know, it's like the trailer syndrome, right? You don't want to put the whole movie in the trailer.
Yeah. I think everything I've ordered is like they didn't show too much of it on the Kickstarter, so
Oh, I got one. Everything was on there. I was like, I'm not complaining. Lesson learned for Rob. Will the book ship internationally also when done? Yeah, but I'll have to add on international shipping. You'll have to pay for it. I don't mind shipping it. Just it might be an extra $15, but I'll average that out. You know, I don't make money on shipping. That's the one thing I try never to do. Matter of fact, on international orders, sometimes I'll come down on my own take home. You know, I'll lose a little bit just to keep that shipping down. So, um, I know that seems ridiculous, but international orders aren't the majority of mine orders, so you know what I mean? Why penalize? Um, but there's not much I can do short of getting a publisher. So, I mean, if it comes down to like losing $5 versus charging $20, you know, I'd rather make 10 versus, I'd rather make, 5 versus nothing. You know, I consider that a sale gain because they probably, if it was $20 shipping, they probably wouldn't get it anyway, you know? That doesn't help. And I've had a lot of people internationally buy expensive commissions, so the money comes back. That's the other thing too, Kyle, and I want to state this too. The money will come back in some, like, look how much money I made off you. Like, you know, sometimes you're working just for me, you know, like,
yeah.
it happens.
I gotta pick up an extra couple shifts so I can buy some art.
So even though I've spent some time working some shit out for you, it comes back. You know? But yeah, I'll make sure Game Cave is available internationally. Even if, no matter what, I don't mind doing the international mail is not that big a deal, you know? It's a pain, but it's not that big a pain. I'm telling you right now, after the shipping for power prints, nothing's hard. I'm just going to tell you, man, the shipping on power prints, to figure that out was crazy, dude. How to figure out how to, like, figure out 100 different custom orders where people just randomly pick whatever they want and then they're grouped together and then shipped, you know? Just that mechanism, like nothing can really get. Even my wife does this shit for a living, and she was like, she figured out how to do that, and I was like, she's like, this is actually really hard, but not anymore. Boom, boom, boom. You know, like I was like, look at that. She had a superpower I didn't even know she had. Had I known she had that superpower, I never would have asked Josh to help. That was the most hurtful part. You know, I was so like, here's a mistake. Here's a personal confession. I dated an art chick in college because I always wanted to date a girl who was an artist. I thought we would be complete, you know. And after dating a few art girls, I realized uh, it can be difficult because it's competitive. You know, that's why like usually husband and wife, actor and actresses, you know what I mean? It can get very competitive. They don't always work out, you know. And so when I ended up with this girl, I was like, I don't want her involved in any of my work, you know, because I didn't want to go through that shit again. And had I just involved her in my work, I would not have been $20,000. Like, I ended up costing me. I should at least figured out what she could do before I made that blanket statement, you know? So,
So what you're saying is I should probably date a supermodel because I'm never going to compete in that arena.
you know, honestly, if you can know how to make her laugh and you don't tell those stupid fucking French jokes, you know, you'll be fine.
Oh, well.
Well, you know,
Yeah, see, I don't know how to not do the
Kyle
French
puns.
jokes.
Kyle puns, wee wee, you know? Good to hear about the shipping. Appreciate you for any of the costs from time. Yeah, I always come down on my take home a little bit, you know? So my wife looks at me like I'm crazy, but I've told her, I said, it comes back, you know? So.
Yeah, international shipping's gotten expensive in the last couple of years too. Like,
I just got a sketchbook from an artist out. I follow a lot of French and Italian artists, you know.
mhm.
So every now and then I hunker down, and when that person bought the Jungle Girl stuff, I'm like, I'm gonna get a sketchbook from Italy. So I got one from this artist, $30 just to ship. You know,
Yeah, it's insane.
it was crazy.
Like I'm always shipping stuff to my buddy in England.
I shipped stuff to your buddy in England.
Yeah, yeah.
I did that a year ago. That was crazy.
And I'm just like, man, are you sure you want to pay this much for shipping? Like, I'm just shipping you a few comic books. And he's like, yeah, but if I had bought it directly from them and had them ship it, they would have charged me like $60 for a
But
comic.
his shit was bulk books, dude. Like that was crazy. You know, my
Yeah.
stuff is not that heavy. Like a book is not that heavy. So, you know, like I'm trying to say, if the shipping's $20 and I say international shipping's 15, I'll eat the $5 cost. You know what I mean? If the shipping's $40, I'm not gonna go in the hole. You know? So at that
Yeah.
point I'm like, look, you can get it or you can just get the digital version, you know?
Which
But
it ships for free.
but it won't cost $40 to ship some shit, you know, like so
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I just sent my buddy a 11-pound package to
Whew.
England. That was not cheap.
Yeah, that never told me. I was like, oh, this shit's like $100. He's like, well, you know, you do get to keep some books now, you know. Like I was like, all right, I see the trade-off, you know. You got me, you got me, you got me. He's a good guy, that dude. So,
Yeah.
you know, I got way more out of that trip than he got, I think. So that was good times, dude. But I was just afraid the shit was gonna get ruined, you know. So I bought all this bubble wrap, like the self-sticky bubble wrap,
Hmm.
because I was like, he's a collector, so I'm like, ah, shit, the corners get bent and shit. I don't want to be responsible for that fucking nonsense, you know?
Yeah, I did a super crazy packing job on the stuff I sent him. As I pick him up all sorts of like exclusives and stuff from San Diego Comic Con and whatnot. I'm like, all right, it's all really good condition now. I don't know what it'll be like once they open it up and go through it all in customs, but
Well, I had one person on PowerPrints once go, this corner is slightly bent. I'm like, there's absolutely nothing that can be done. There's absolutely, I mean, as good as a packing job as I do, there's nothing you can do. You know, and by the way, it's going in a frame, so who's gonna fucking tell? You know, like it's not like if the thing was bent in half, send the shit back. I'll fucking, you know, but a slight little, there's not shipping in mint condition.
yeah,
You know, I don't offer mint condition shit. Like I don't. These aren't CGC fucking rated prints, bro. You know, like like you might be in the wrong game. Yeah, but I shipped to Australia, man. You know, and various other places. I think the farthest I shipped. I had a big Chinese order once on Power Prints. You know that? I finally got my money back from China.
and you're gonna go to China like in a year or two, and your stuff's just gonna be on everything there.
That's fine.
They just ordered all your prints so they could
That's
replicate
fine.
them all.
Whatever. Yeah, I like to. I'm waiting for them to just knock me off and make another me that actually produces efficiently.
You can just order another you in Alibaba.
Yeah, it's just another me. It's Asian. You know, it's Asian Rob. You know, Kung Pao Duanias. You know. That's fucked up, but Kung Pao Rob. Kicking. That's some racist shit. I'm like, no, it's stereotypical. That's a bit different. I don't know any other shit. Mugu guy sketchcraft? I don't fucking know, dude. All I know, man, is the knockoff Rob will probably be way more efficient with his time than the real Rob. Yeah, lighting these things aren't going to be hard, but it's each individual one. They get one pass plus a dark shade, and that's it. So it just takes a little bit of time to go to each one.
It's just the quantity rather than the
Yes.
complexity.
Yeah, the quantity versus the complexity. Yeah, exactly. But that's why I do that roughy, man. You know? Like the layer structure's already figured out, you know? The lighting's already figured out. I couldn't imagine. Like trying to figure this shit out once it's drawn is 10 times worse. You know? It's just there's too many pixels. Your canvas essentially triples. Doing all little low res webbies way easier. But I will have physical copies of the Game Cave. I will figure out shipping for everything based on the weight and have all that shit actually calculated before I go and relaunch. Plus, I'll have all the other ones shipped, so I'll have quotes. This was amazing. I had no idea I was getting this. Yeah. Please don't take 3 more years. It's a long road, dude.
It'll be well worth it, though.
I'll be doing black and white shit too, by the way. I will have. I'm gonna have smaller books that are just one-offs that I can draw quickly. That won't be in full color. They'll be in black and white.
Oh, okay.
So I can then go back and do the color version later if I want to. Things that aren't so complicated. So all this time I've been doing I do maybe 2 print drives a year. I'd be doing no print drives a year. The only prints I'd be producing are for Game Cave, and this right here is going to get me through the first 2 volumes. So I'll be able to work on Game Cave and my own shit, and then maybe some cover work.
Yeah.
What's up with this? What is a Ruffy? Ruffy, Ruffy. It's this right here. It's my low res version. It's up on the YouTube channel. You can see me painting these, doing speed paints. So I do a low res version and figure out all the work before I actually go and do the high res. So do. Time is it? 1:03. Can you believe I didn't get much done today because of that situation popping up? You can imagine, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it happens.
You suddenly have to start planning. You're like, oh, I got to plan some other stuff now.
Well, I'm letting her plan it. But, yeah. So, all right, folks, I'm going to pause it here, and in the morning I'm just going to get up and get all this shit lit up. And I'm going to try to wrap this up tomorrow, but I know this needs a day at least to sit, and then I can come back and edit, So I'm going to get through most of it tomorrow, and then I'll touch up on it again Thursday with any edits, and then we'll be done, and then we can sell prints and make some money. It'll be amazing. I will get stuff. So, Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. The link is what's this?
In the info box below.
In the info box, yep.
It's below. Yeah, Kyle's info's below. If you want to hang out, Kyle's on Instagram. Go check it out. Go see what Kyle does for a living. And I'll be back on tomorrow between 10 and 11 a.m., somewhere around there, coloring Battletoads. So I'll see y'all in about 9 hours, folks. Say goodbye,
Have a
Kyle.
good night.
Say goodbye. Oh my gosh.
And cue theme music.
Cue in the theme music. Going to sleep.